In the beginning, there was silence, a profound, unbroken quiet that settled over a world still new, still finding its form. Imagine an earth spinning in the void, a blue and green marble bathed in the soft, warm light of a young sun. This wasn't the bustling, noisy planet we know today. This was a world of serene stillness, where the only sounds were the whisper of the wind over barren rock and the gentle lapping of water against primordial shores. Picture vast, empty landscapes under a sky of pale orange and soft lavender. Rivers, clear as crystal, meandered through virgin valleys, their journeys undisturbed by dams or bridges. Mist rose from their surfaces in the cool morning air, drifting like ghosts through forests of strange ancient plants that had just begun to claim the land. There were no booming cities, no humming power lines, no distant rumble of traffic. The air was pure, carrying only the scent of damp earth, wet stone, and the first hints of green life. It was a world in waiting, a canvas untouched, holding its breath before the grand story of life truly began. The days were marked by the slow, majestic passage of the sun, and the nights by a canopy of stars so brilliant and dense they would seem alien to our modern eyes. The moon, much closer then, cast a powerful, silvery glow, turning the sleeping world into a realm of shadow and light. This was a time of immense geological forces, but between the great upheavals of volcanoes and shifting continents, there were eons of peace. A quiet so deep you could almost hear the hum of the planet itself, a low, resonant frequency of a world alive and alone. Think of the first rains, not drumming on roofs or streets, but falling onto soft soil and bare mountains, each drop a tiny percussion instrument in an orchestra of nature. The sound of a waterfall thundering into a placid lake would have been a dramatic event, its roar traveling for miles through the otherwise silent air, echoing off cliffs that had never heard a sound before. The wind, sweeping across immense, empty plains, would have been the world's own voice, a lonely, sighing melody that spoke of solitude and infinite space. This was the earth in its infancy, a world of staggering, empty beauty, a place of peace where the fundamental elements of water, rock, and air existed in a simple, profound harmony. It was a time before footsteps, before voices, before the complex symphony of animal life. It was the quiet world before us, a silent testament to the immense timescale of our planet's history, a gentle, misty, untouched cradle resting in the cosmos, waiting for the first stirrings of the incredible journey that was to come. This period of tranquility, lasting for hundreds of millions of years, was the necessary prelude to everything that followed. It was in this quiet crucible that the fundamental conditions for life were being forged. The atmosphere was stabilizing, the oceans were forming their chemical balance, and the stage was being meticulously set. Every silent sunrise, every quiet twilight was a step towards a future teeming with noise and activity. The very ground was soaking in energy, preparing for the explosion of biodiversity that would eventually paint this muted landscape with vibrant colors and fill the air with a cacophony of calls, cries, and songs. But for now, there was just the gentle rhythm of the planet itself, the slow, grinding dance of tectonic plates, the patient erosion of mountains by wind and water, the cyclical pull of the tides. These were the only movements, the only actions in a world defined by its stillness. To be there would have been to experience a sense of solitude so absolute it is almost impossible for us to comprehend. It's a powerful reminder that our human story, with all its noise and drama, is just a fleeting moment in the grand, silent epic of Earth. It's in this primordial quiet that we find the roots of our own existence. The elements that make up our bodies were forged in the stars and delivered to this peaceful, watery world. The air we breathe began its long journey to oxygenation in these ancient, silent seas. Before the first heartbeat, before the first breath, there was this immense, patient silence. It's the baseline from which all the music of life has sprung. In the quiet before time, a profound act of creation was about to unfold. Imagine a world silent, waiting, a canvas untouched by life. The Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground." This wasn't a rushed or chaotic event. It was a moment of intimate artistry, filled with purpose and tenderness. Picture the very hands of the divine, hands that spun galaxies and set stars ablaze, now gently gathering the humble dust of the new earth. Each particle, each grain, was chosen with intention. It was a slow, deliberate process, like a master sculptor working with their most cherished material. There was no thunder, no cataclysm, just a serene, focused love being poured into this new creation. The dust began to take shape, not just as a random form, but as something new, something in the very image of its creator. Slowly, under this divine touch, a figure emerged. A head, a torso, limbs stretching out. It was the form of a man, Adam, the first of his kind. Think about the incredible contrast, the raw, earthen material of the ground being molded into the intricate, miraculous design of the human body. A heart not yet beating, lungs not yet breathing, a mind not yet thinking. It was a vessel, perfectly formed, lying still and lifeless upon the soil from which it came. This act speaks volumes about our origins. We are connected to the earth, literally made from its substance. Yet we are also touched by something beyond it, something divine. This moment was the bridge between the celestial and the terrestrial. It's a powerful reminder that in our very essence, we carry a piece of the earth and a spark of the heavens. The atmosphere was one of sacred stillness, a holy calm surrounding this pivotal point in creation. And then came the most crucial part of this divine act. The scripture continues, "And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." This was not just air, it was the neshama, the very spirit of God. Imagine this divine breath, warm and life-giving, flowing from the Creator into the clay form. In that instant, everything changed. The still heart fluttered and began to beat a steady rhythm. The lungs expanded, taking in their first breath of air. Blood began to course through veins, bringing warmth and color to the skin. Eyelids flickered and opened, and for the first time, Adam saw the world. He was no longer just a form of dust. He was a living soul. This infusion of divine breath is what sets humanity apart. It's the source of our consciousness, our creativity, our ability to love, to reason, and to connect with God Himself. This single act of breathing life into dust is the ultimate expression of God's desire for relationship. He didn't just speak man into existence from a distance. He came close. He formed him with His own hands, and He shared His own breath. It was an act of profound intimacy. This tells us that from the very beginning, we were made for connection with our Creator. We are not cosmic accidents or random collections of molecules. We are intentionally designed, handcrafted masterpieces brought to life by the very breath of God. Every breath we take is a quiet echo of that first one, a continuous gift of life from the one who first gave it. It's a beautiful, humbling thought that connects us back to this peaceful, powerful moment in the garden. This wasn't just the creation of a man. It was the beginning of a story, God's story with humanity. So what does this mean for us today, thousands of years later? It means our value isn't based on our accomplishments, our status, or what we own. Our inherent worth comes from our origin. We are made from the humble dust, keeping us grounded, yet we are animated by the sacred breath of God, giving us limitless potential and divine purpose. When you feel small or insignificant, remember that you were personally formed by the Creator of the universe. When you feel lost or without purpose, remember that the very breath in your lungs is a gift, a sign that you are a living, breathing soul with a part to play in this grand story. This moment of Adam's creation isn't just an ancient tale, it's the foundation of our identity. It's a story of love, intimacy, and purpose, written in the dust of the earth and brought to life by the breath of heaven. It invites us to see ourselves and others, not just as physical beings, but as miracles of creation, walking wonders infused with a divine spark. Consider the atmosphere of that moment, a world pristine and new, a creator working not with force, but with a gentle, loving touch. This peace is something we can still connect with, in a world that is often loud, chaotic, and demanding. The story of our creation calls us back to a place of stillness. It reminds us to breathe, to remember who we are and whose we are. We are dust and divinity, earth and heaven, intertwined in a beautiful mystery. This truth can be an anchor for our souls. It's a reminder that beneath all the layers we add to our lives, our worries, our successes, and failures, we are, at our core, beings created for a relationship with God. The story of Adam is our story. It's the story of how life began, not with a bang, but with a breath, a soft, warm, divine breath that turned dust into a living soul. And that same life-giving power is available to us today, inviting us into a deeper relationship with the one who first breathed life into us. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores the depths of these timeless truths. As the mist of creation parted, I found my feet on soft, yielding earth. The air, warm and fragrant, filled my lungs for the very first time, carrying the scent of 1,000 flowers I had yet to name. Before me, a landscape unfolded that no dream could ever capture. This, I somehow knew, was Eden. A gentle breeze rustled through the leaves of colossal trees, their branches reaching for a sky painted in hues of soft gold and rose. Sunlight, not harsh or blinding, but a warm, living glow, filtered through the canopy, dappling the ground in shifting patterns of light and shadow. It was as if the sun itself was alive, breathing warmth onto this perfect world. To my left, a waterfall cascaded down moss-covered rocks, its sound not a roar, but a gentle, melodic hum. The water, clear as crystal, pooled into a serene lake whose surface mirrored the sky with flawless precision. Brightly colored fish, like living jewels, darted just beneath the surface, their scales catching the light. I took a step, then another, feeling the plush grass tickle my ankles. Everywhere I looked, life flourished in harmonious abundance. Vines heavy with luscious, unfamiliar fruits coiled around tree trunks. Flowers in every color imaginable bloomed in riotous profusion, their petals unfurling to greet the day. Some were as large as my hand, others as delicate as a whisper. A sense of profound peace settled over me, a tranquility so deep it felt like the very foundation of this place. There was no fear, no anxiety, only a feeling of belonging, of being home in a place I had never known. The air vibrated with a gentle energy, a quiet symphony of life. The buzzing of insects, the distant call of an exotic bird, the soft murmur of the waterfall, it all blended into a single, perfect song. I walked toward the lake, my reflection looking back at me from the still water. Around its edge, animals of all kinds rested together. A lion with a magnificent mane lay peacefully beside a lamb, its powerful form completely at ease. Colorful birds with brilliant plumage perched on the branches above, their songs weaving in and out of the air. None of them showed any fear of me, and I felt no fear of them. Their eyes, when they met mine, held a calm and curious intelligence. This garden was a living, breathing entity, and I was a part of it. Every leaf, every drop of water, every creature seemed connected in a delicate, invisible web of existence. The very ground seemed to pulse with a gentle heartbeat. I knelt down and dipped my hand into the cool water of the lake. It was pure and refreshing, a stark contrast to the formless void from which I had come. As I looked up, my gaze swept across the panoramic vista. Rolling hills carpeted in emerald green stretched into the distance, where majestic mountains touched the clouds. The entire world felt new, pristine, and untouched. It was a masterpiece, a symphony of color, sound, and scent, designed with impossible care and love. I realized then that this wasn't just a place, it was a promise of life, of joy, of connection. There was no hunger, no thirst, no pain, only the pure, unadulterated experience of being. The breeze carried the sweet nectar of the blossoms, and I felt an innate understanding of this world, as if its knowledge was being poured directly into my soul. The trees themselves seemed ancient and wise, their bark like wrinkled skin, telling a story that began with time itself. I reached out and touched the trunk of a mighty oak. A strange, comforting energy flowed into my palm, a sense of strength and endurance. It felt like shaking hands with an old friend. As the day wore on, the light shifted, painting the garden in new colors. The golden glow of morning softened into the bright clarity of noon, and then began its slow descent into the warm, honeyed light of late afternoon. The shadows lengthened, stretching like long, lazy fingers across the grass. I wandered deeper into the garden, discovering new wonders at every turn. A hidden grotto behind a curtain of ivy, where phosphorescent moss cast a soft, ethereal light. A field of wildflowers that seemed to hum with the collective energy of a million tiny lives. A stream that chuckled and gurgled over smooth, colored stones. There was a rhythm to this place, a natural, unforced order. The sun rose and set, the tides of the lake ebbed and flowed, the flowers opened and closed. Everything moved in a perfect, synchronized dance. And I, Adam, was the newest dancer, just learning the steps. This was my beginning, my first day, my first sight of a world crafted from love. This was the Garden of Eden, a paradise more beautiful than any word could ever describe, a sanctuary where heaven touched the earth. And as the first stars began to prick the darkening velvet of the sky, I knew with absolute certainty that I was home. Imagine a world untouched, a beginning before beginnings. This is the story of Eden, a paradise born at the dawn of time. Before cities rose and before history was written, there was a garden. The scriptures describe it as a place planted eastward, a sanctuary of unparalleled beauty and life. This wasn't just any piece of land. It was a divine masterpiece, crafted with intention and purpose. The very name, Eden, comes from a Hebrew word meaning delight or pleasure, and it lived up to its name in every conceivable way. It was here, in this pristine wilderness, that the story of humanity was set to begin, a story of innocence, wonder, and a profound connection to the Creator. As we step into this ancient world, leave behind the noise and complexity of our own time, let's journey back to the very first sunrise, to witness the splendor of a world freshly made, a world teeming with life and promise. The book of Genesis paints a vivid picture, and the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. This wasn't just about planting a few trees. It was about creating an entire ecosystem, a self-sustaining world of perfect harmony. Think of the air, pure and clean, carrying the scent of blossoms that had never known pollution. The light wasn't the harsh glare we sometimes see today, but a soft, golden glow that seemed to emanate from the very soil, bathing everything in a warm, life-giving radiance. This was a place where every leaf, every blade of grass was perfectly formed. The ground was fertile, watered not by harsh rainstorms, but by a gentle mist that rose from the earth each morning, kissing the landscape with moisture and sustaining all that grew there. This was nature in its most ideal state, a testament to a grand design where everything had its place and purpose. From the heart of Eden, a great river flowed, a single, powerful source of life that then divided into 4 separate headwaters. These weren't just streams, they were the legendary rivers of the ancient world. The first, the Piscean, is said to have wound its way through the land of Havilah, a place renowned for its pure gold, aromatic resins, and precious onyx stones. Imagine a river whose banks glittered with treasure, not as a sign of wealth, but as a natural part of the landscape's beauty. And the fourth was the Euphrates, another river that has shaped civilizations for millennia. These 4 rivers, originating from one sacred source, carried the lifeblood of Eden out into the wider world, hinting at the garden's central importance in the grand scheme of creation. There were trees that were simply pleasing to the sight, their forms elegant, their leaves 1,000 shades of green, their blossoms a riot of color. Their purpose was beauty, to fill the senses with wonder and delight. Then there were the trees that were good for food. There was no struggle for sustenance here, no toil or labor required to eat. The garden provided everything in abundance, a constant, effortless feast. It was a world without lack, a world of pure provision, where every need was met before it was even felt. This abundance was a core feature of paradise, a symbol of the Creator's boundless generosity and care for his creation. But among all the magnificent flora of Eden, two trees stood apart, placed at the very center of the garden. They were unique and held a significance far beyond the others. The first was the tree of life. Its name says it all. This tree was the source of eternal life, a physical manifestation of immortality. To eat its fruit was to live forever, to be sustained by a divine energy that defied decay and death. It represented an unbroken connection to the divine, a state of perpetual being. It was the ultimate symbol of life in its fullest, most unending form. Its presence in the garden was a promise, a potential for a life without end, woven directly into the fabric of this paradise. It was a constant reminder of the gift of existence, standing tall and vibrant at the heart of it all. The choice wasn't about the fruit itself, but about the relationship between humanity and its creator. He was formed from the dust of the earth, and the breath of life was breathed into his nostrils. His purpose was clear, to work it and keep it. This wasn't toil as we know it, not backbreaking labor born of necessity. It was a joyful, creative partnership with nature. It was tending, cultivating, and nurturing the garden, taking delight in its growth and beauty. Adam was a steward, not an owner. His role was to maintain the perfect harmony that already existed, to be a part of the garden's life, not to dominate it. His existence was one of purpose, peace, and communion with his surroundings. As Adam explored his home, he discovered he was not the only living being. The garden was teeming with life. God had formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens, and brought them to Adam. And here, Adam's role expanded. He was tasked with naming them. This was more than just making up labels. In ancient thought, to name something was to understand its essence, to have a measure of responsibility over it. As Adam named the lions, the eagles, the deer, he was observing, understanding, and defining his relationship with the animal kingdom. It was a symphony of life, and Adam was its conductor, bringing a conscious understanding to the vibrant world around him. While he slept, God took one of his ribs, and, from it, fashioned a woman. When Adam awoke and saw her, his loneliness vanished, replaced by a cry of joyful recognition. This, at last, is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. He named her Eve, which means mother of all living. She was not his subordinate, but his perfect counterpart, a helper fit for him. Together, they were complete. The Bible says they were both naked and were not ashamed. This wasn't about a lack of clothing. It was about a lack of guilt, fear, or self-consciousness. It was a state of pure innocence, of complete transparency with each other and with God. Their relationship was one of perfect unity, reflecting the harmony of the garden they called home. This was the pinnacle of creation, humanity, male and female, living in perfect fellowship in a perfect world. This was Eden, a world of beauty, provision, and purpose, holding the fragile seed of humanity's future. Imagine a world untouched, pristine, a masterpiece painted by an unseen hand. This was the garden, a place of perfect harmony, and at its heart was a being unlike any other, Adam. This wasn't just a man in a garden. This was the dawn of consciousness, humanity's very first steps into existence. The air he breathed was pure, filled with the scent of blossoms that had never known blight and earth that had never been turned by a plow. Every sunrise painted the sky in colors we can only dream of, and every sunset was a promise of another perfect day. Adam's first sensations were a symphony of discovery. The feeling of soft, cool grass under his feet, the gentle caress of a warm breeze on his skin, the taste of sweet, sun-ripened fruit picked directly from the branch. He didn't know names for these things yet. He only knew the pure, unadulterated joy they brought him. Think about it. The very first time a human tasted a strawberry, or felt the smooth surface of a river stone, or heard the melodic song of a bird. Each experience was a universe of wonder, a first for all time. His world was a living tapestry. Towering trees formed a canopy, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. Rivers, clear as crystal, flowed with a gentle murmur, their banks teeming with life. Animals, with no fear of humans, would approach him with curiosity. A lion might lay down beside him, its powerful presence a source of comfort, not threat. A deer might nuzzle his hand, its large, dark eyes reflecting the innocence of this new world. Adam was not their master in a sense of domination, but their companion, a fellow inhabitant of this grand sanctuary. He was a part of the garden, and the garden was a part of him. One of his first great tasks, a sign of his unique place in this creation, was to name the animals. This wasn't just a simple act of labeling. It was an act of understanding, of observing, of connecting. He would watch a creature, study its movements, listen to its sounds, and perceive its essence. And from that deep observation, a name would form. Lion, for the majestic beast with a roar like thunder. Eagle, for the bird that soared so high it seemed to touch the sun. Dolphin, for the sleek, playful creature that danced in the water. With each name, Adam wasn't just giving an identity. He was weaving the first threads of language, of poetry, of relationship between humanity and the natural world. He was building a bridge of understanding, one name at a time. As Adam explored, he learned the rhythms of the garden. He learned which fruits were sweetest, which streams ran coldest, which clearings were bathed in the warmest sunlight. He discovered hidden waterfalls, cascading into sparkling pools, and quiet groves, where the silence was so profound, you could almost hear the world breathing. His days weren't governed by clocks or schedules, but by the sun and the moon, by hunger and by rest. Life was simple, yet infinitely rich. There were no anxieties about the future or regrets about the past. There was only the present moment, a continuous, unfolding gift of existence. His relationship with the Creator was direct, intimate. It was like a child walking with a loving parent. There was no need for grand temples or complex rituals. Conversations happened in the cool of the day, a gentle sharing of thoughts in the heart of the garden. Adam learned about his purpose, to tend and care for this beautiful place. It wasn't a burden, but a joy. To cultivate, to nurture, to help this perfect world flourish was his calling. It gave his existence meaning, a sense of partnership in the grand project of creation. He was a gardener, a steward, a caretaker of paradise. But in this perfect world, amidst all the beauty and companionship of the animals, a new feeling began to stir within him. It wasn't loneliness as we know it, filled with sadness or despair. It was a subtle awareness, a quiet longing. As he named the animals, he saw that they came in pairs. The lions, the eagles, the deer, they all had a counterpart, a companion who was like them. He observed their interactions, their bonds, and in doing so, became aware of his own uniqueness, his own aloneness. He was the only one of his kind. This wasn't a flaw in paradise, but the next step in the story, the dawning of a need for a different kind of connection. This feeling was a profound moment in human history. It was the first recognition of the need for companionship, for a soulmate, for someone to share the wonders of the garden with. The beauty of a sunset is magnified when shared. The joy of discovery is sweeter when you can turn to someone and say, "Look what I found." Adam's unspoken yearning was the prelude to the creation of Eve, the moment when humanity would become complete. It was the recognition that even in a perfect world, we are made for relationship. We are made to love and be loved by someone who truly understands us. So, as we look back on Adam's first days, we see more than just a mythological story. We see a reflection of our own deepest human experiences, the joy of discovery, the wonder of the natural world, the drive to understand and name our reality, the fundamental need for companionship and purpose. Adam's first steps in the garden were humanity's first steps. He was our pioneer, the first to experience the awe and beauty of being alive. His story reminds us of the paradise we were designed for and the profound connections we are meant to have with creation, with our Creator, and with each other. It's a story that's written into our very DNA. In the quiet dawn of existence, when the world was a fresh canvas painted by an unseen hand, a solitary figure walked through a garden unlike any other. This was Adam, the first man, stepping into a reality that was as new as he was. The air he breathed was pure, untouched by time, carrying the scent of blossoms that had never known winter and earth that had never felt a storm. He moved through Eden, not with the hurried pace of modern life, but with a slow, deliberate wonder. Each step was a discovery, each glance a revelation. The light here was different, softer, filtering through leaves of 1,000 shades of green, casting gentle patterns on the ground. It was a light that seemed to emanate from the very soil, from the water that flowed in crystal-clear streams, and from the life that teemed all around him. Adam's senses were overwhelmed in the most gentle way imaginable. He saw flowers in colors so vibrant they seemed to hum with energy. He heard the melody of birds that had no name, their songs weaving through the air in a symphony of pure joy. He felt the soft, yielding moss under his bare feet, a carpet woven by nature itself. Everything was in perfect harmony. The lion lay beside the lamb, not out of truce, but because the concept of fear had not yet been born. The world was at peace with itself, a seamless whole where every creature, every plant, every drop of water existed in a state of tranquil grace. As Adam walked, he was not just an observer. He was a part of this harmony, the sentient heart of a world that was just beginning to know itself. He reached out a hand to touch the bark of a towering tree, its surface smooth and warm. It felt alive, ancient and new at the same time, its roots drawing life from the rich soil and its leaves reaching for the benevolent sky. He looked at his own hands, marveling at their design, at the way his fingers could curl and grasp. He was a being of thought and feeling in a world of instinct and being. This garden, Eden, was his home, a place of endless beauty and serene calm. There were no walls, no boundaries, only an ever-unfolding landscape of wonder. The rivers flowed without needing a destination. The trees grew without striving for the sun, and Adam existed without the burden of yesterday or the anxiety of tomorrow. His expression was one of gentle curiosity, of pure, unadulterated innocence. His eyes, clear and bright, reflected the pristine world around him. He saw a butterfly with wings like stained glass land softly on his arm. He didn't flinch or try to catch it. He simply watched it, a shared moment of stillness between two of God's creations. The butterfly's brief visit was a small miracle in a world composed entirely of miracles. Everything was a gift, freely given, meant to be experienced and cherished. The rustle of the leaves was a whisper, the gurgle of the brook a quiet laugh. The world was speaking a language of peace, and Adam was its soul, attentive listener. Imagine a place where every sensation is pleasant, where every sight is beautiful, where the only sound is the gentle music of life itself. This was Adam's reality. He would wander down to the river's edge and watch the fish, their scales shimmering with silver and gold, swim in water so clear he could count the pebbles on the riverbed. He would lie in meadows of soft grass, watching the clouds drift across a sky of the deepest, most tranquil blue. He felt a profound connection to everything around him, the stoic mountains in the distance, the smallest insect crawling on a blade of grass, the warm sun on his skin. He was not lonely. He was in communion with all of creation. This was a world untouched, a paradise in its most literal sense. There was no concept of loss, no shadow of sorrow. Every day was the first day, filled with the same sense of awe and newness. The fruits that hung from the branches were always ripe, the water from the springs always cool and refreshing. Adam's existence was simple, yet infinitely rich. He was the caretaker of this perfect garden, but his work was not toil. It was a joyful exploration, a continuous act of naming and knowing, of participating in the unfolding story of the world. He was the first thought in the mind of the waking world, the first footstep on the path of time. He might pause to examine a dewdrop on a spider's web, a perfect sphere holding a tiny, inverted image of the entire garden. In that single drop was all the beauty of Eden, a microcosm of the grand design. It was a world of details, and Adam had an eternity to discover them all. He was not just living in paradise. He was a part of it, his heartbeat synchronized with the slow, steady pulse of the earth. His thoughts were as clear as the streams, his emotions as calm as the still morning air. This was humanity's beginning, a portrait of innocence and peace, a memory of a world where everything was right, soft and unhurried, a world that had only just begun. As the sun cast long, golden shadows, Adam would find a place to rest, not from weariness, but in peaceful contentment, ready to greet another day of serene discovery in the garden of God. Have you ever had one of those sleeps? The kind that's so deep, so profound, it feels like you've traveled to another dimension and come back brand new. That's the kind of rest we're talking about today. Not just a nap, not just 8 hours of shut-eye, but a divinely given, soul-renewing slumber. This isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about surrender, about trust, and about preparing for something incredible that's about to happen. Imagine Adam, the very first man, in the pristine Garden of Eden. Everything is new. Everything is perfect. He's named the animals. He's explored the paradise he calls home. He's walked with God in the cool of the day. He has everything he could possibly need, or so it seems. Yet, there's a sense of anticipation in the air. God is about to perform a masterpiece, a final, crowning touch on his creation. But before the miracle, there must be rest. So, God causes a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. This isn't an ordinary sleep brought on by a long day of work. This is a supernatural rest, a state of complete and utter peace orchestrated by the Creator himself. Picture Adam lying on a bed of soft green grass, maybe under the shade of the tree of life. The air is still, filled with the sweet fragrance of blossoms. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange, pink, and purple. The first stars begin to twinkle in the twilight. In this moment, Adam is completely vulnerable, completely at peace. He's not worried. He's not anxious. He is in a state of perfect trust. He doesn't know what's about to happen. He doesn't know that from his very side, God is about to create his companion, his other half, Eve. All he knows is the profound peace that has enveloped him. This sleep is a divine anesthetic, a gentle preparation for the most beautiful surgery ever performed. Think about the symbolism here. Before a great creation, there is a period of stillness. Before a major breakthrough in our own lives, there's often a time of waiting, a time of quiet trust. We often try to force things, to stay awake and control every outcome. We worry, we plan, we strive. But sometimes, the most productive thing we can do is to simply rest, to surrender our plans and our anxieties to a higher power, trusting that something wonderful is being formed even when we can't see it. As Adam sleeps, the world around him doesn't stop. The river flows, the leaves rustle, the celestial bodies continue their silent dance across the heavens. Creation is active, and God is at work. This is a powerful reminder that even when we are still, even when we are resting, purpose is unfolding. Our moments of rest are not moments of inactivity for the universe. They are sacred pauses where divine work is being done in the background. This deep sleep is a profound act of love. God doesn't just put Adam to sleep. He gives him a gift of rest. He cradles him in a bubble of peace, protecting him, preparing him. It's a testament to the idea that true rest is a gift. In our hustle culture, we often see rest as a weakness or a luxury. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. But here, in the very beginning, we see rest established as a holy and necessary prelude to blessing. What if we started to view our own rest in this way? Not as wasted time, but as a sacred space where we prepare to receive the good things that are coming our way. A time to quiet our minds and trust that even in our sleep, we are being cared for and prepared for our next chapter. Adam's slumber wasn't just a physical necessity, it was a spiritual act. It was his participation in God's creative process, a passive, trusting acceptance of the miracle to come. As the night deepens, a warm, gentle light surrounds Adam. It's a divine glow, a visible sign of the sacred work taking place. This isn't the harsh light of day, but a soft, ethereal luminescence that speaks of mystery and wonder. The atmosphere is serene, charged with holy potential. Every element of this scene, from the soft grass to the starlit sky, is a testament to the gentle and loving nature of the Creator. The story of Adam's deep sleep is more than just a setup for the creation of Eve. It's a lesson for all of us. It teaches us the power of surrender, the holiness of rest, and the beauty of trusting in a plan far greater than our own. It reminds us that sometimes the greatest miracles in our lives are born not from our frantic efforts, but from our quiet moments of trusting stillness. Before the joy of companionship, before the completion of humanity, there was a deep, divine, and perfect rest. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time you feel like you have to have it all figured out, remember Adam. Remember the sacred sleep in the garden. Perhaps the answer isn't to try harder, but to rest deeper, to allow yourself to fall into that place of peace and trust, knowing that when you awaken, something beautiful might be waiting for you that you never could have created on your own. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores these timeless truths. Today, we're journeying back to the dawn of humanity, to a time of pristine gardens and profound beginnings, to explore the creation of Eve. This isn't just a retelling of an ancient story. It's a deep dive into the powerful theme of life brought forth through care. Picture this: the world is new, vibrant, and teeming with life. Animals roam the lush landscapes, birds fill the sky with song, and the air is pure. In the heart of this paradise, the Garden of Eden, walks Adam. He has been given the task of naming every living creature. He sees pairs of lions, pairs of eagles, pairs of everything. In this bustling world of twos, a deep realization dawns upon him. For all the connection he witnesses, he is alone. The scriptures say, "It is not good that the man should be alone." This single statement is incredibly profound. It highlights a fundamental truth about our existence. We are created for relationship, for connection. Solitude in this perfect world was the only thing deemed not good. This sets the stage for one of the most intimate and gentle acts of creation. It's not a command shouted into the void, but an act of profound tenderness. God causes a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. This isn't just a nap. It's a state of complete trust and surrender. While Adam rests, vulnerable and unaware, something miraculous happens. A rib is taken from his side. Think about the symbolism here. Not from his head to rule over him, nor from his feet to be trampled upon, but from his side to be his equal, a partner, a companion to stand with him, side by side. It's a powerful image of equality and unity from the very beginning. From this single rib, a new being is fashioned. The text uses a word that's often translated as made or formed, but it can also be understood as built. It suggests craftsmanship, intention, and artistry. This isn't a rushed process. It's a careful, deliberate act of bringing life into being. Just as a sculptor lovingly shapes clay, or a builder carefully constructs a masterpiece, Eve is brought into existence. This is the essence of our theme today. Life brought through care. Her creation is a direct response to a need, an answer to loneliness, born from an act of deep empathy and compassion. Imagine the moment Adam awakens. The world he knew has been transformed. Standing before him is not another animal to be named, but someone entirely new, someone who reflects him, yet is distinct from him. His reaction is one of pure, unadulterated joy and recognition. He exclaims, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." It's a poetic declaration of sameness, of kinship. He sees himself in her. He names her woman, in Hebrew, Isha, because she was taken out of man, Ish. Their very names link them together, highlighting their shared origin and inherent connection. This moment is the first human relationship, the foundation of family and society. It establishes the principle that we are meant to live in community, to support and cherish one another. The story concludes with the famous line, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." This speaks of a new unit being formed, a bond so deep that two individuals become one in purpose, spirit, and life. This unity is the ultimate expression of the care that went into their creation. So what does this ancient story mean for us today, thousands of years later? It reminds us that at our core, we are relational beings. We thrive not in isolation, but in connection. It shows us that true strength is found in partnership and equality. The creation of Eve isn't just about the origin of woman, it's about the origin of us. It's a beautiful testament to the idea that life, in its fullest sense, is a gift that is nurtured, protected, and brought into being through intentional acts of love and care. It challenges us to look at our own relationships with our partners, our families, our friends, and to ask if we are building them with the same level of intention and care. Are we being a companion, an equal, a source of strength for those at our side? The story of Eve is a powerful reminder that we are all, in some way, bone of bone and flesh of flesh with one another. We are interconnected, part of a vast and beautiful human family. The care that brought forth the first woman is the same care that we are called to show one another every single day. It's in the small acts of kindness, the moments of empathy, and the willingness to stand side by side with someone, sharing in their journey. This, ultimately, is how we continue the act of creation, building a world where no one has to feel that it is not good to be alone. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the Garden of Eden. Towering trees, their leaves whispering in a gentle breeze. Rivers flowing with crystal clear water. Animals of every shape and size, from the majestic lion to the tiny buzzing hummingbird. And in the center of it all, one man, Adam. He was given a remarkable task to name every living creature. Can you picture him walking through this paradise, observing the powerful elephants, the graceful giraffes, the playful monkeys? For each one, he found the perfect name, a word that captured its essence. As he did this, day after day, Adam must have noticed something. The birds had their mates, soaring together in the sky. The lions had their pride, resting together in the shade. The dolphins swam in pods, leaping through the waves in joyful unison. Everywhere he looked, he saw pairs, he saw companionship, he saw a reflection of connection in the eyes of every creature he named. And in that beautiful, perfect world, a profound realization began to dawn on him. For all the wonders around him, for all the creatures he had named, there was no one quite like him. He was unique, yes, but he was also alone. The Bible puts it this way in Genesis chapter 2. The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." This is such a powerful statement in a world that God had declared good at every stage of creation. This was the very first time something was declared not good, not Adam's sin, not a flaw in the world, but his solitude. This tells us something incredibly important about our nature. We are designed for connection. We are created for community. That feeling of loneliness we sometimes experience isn't a weakness. It's a signpost pointing to a fundamental need wired into our very being. So, what did God do? The story is one of the most beautiful and intimate in all of Scripture. God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. It wasn't just a nap. It was a profound, supernatural rest. And while Adam slept, God performed the first surgery. He took one of Adam's ribs, and from it, he fashioned a woman. This detail is so rich with meaning. Eve wasn't created from the dust of the ground like Adam. She was built from his side, from his very bone. She wasn't made from his head to rule over him, nor from his feet to be trampled by him, but from his side to be his equal, his partner, his companion. She was to be near his heart, cherished and protected. Then came the moment of awakening. God brought the woman to the man. Imagine Adam stirring from his deep sleep, the world still quiet and peaceful. He opens his eyes, and there, before him, is a being unlike any he has ever seen. She is not an animal to be named. She is like him, yet wonderfully different. His reaction is pure poetry. "The first love song ever recorded," he exclaims. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." Can you feel the joy, the relief, the sheer wonder in his voice? The "at last" that hangs in the air. The search is over. The missing piece has been found. The loneliness that was not good has been replaced by the goodness of companionship. He didn't just see her, he recognized her. He saw himself in her, a perfect complement to his own being. This wasn't just about finding a helper. It was about finding a soulmate, someone to share life with, to walk through the garden with, to experience the wonders of creation with. The name he gives her, woman, or Isha in Hebrew, is a beautiful play on words with the Hebrew word for man, Ish. It's like saying Shaman, a name that forever links them together, highlighting their shared essence and their beautiful, God-designed partnership. It's a name of connection, of shared identity. This story is more than just an ancient account of the first two people. It's a timeless illustration of our deep-seated need for companionship. We are relational beings. We thrive in healthy, loving relationships. Whether it's in marriage, in deep friendships, or in community, we are meant to do life together. We are meant to be bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh to one another, supporting, loving, and cherishing each other. Think about your own life. Who are the people who make you feel seen, known, and loved? Who are the ones you can be your truest self with? These relationships are a gift, a modern-day echo of that first meeting in the Garden of Eden. They are a reflection of God's own relational nature and His good design for us. The story of Adam and Eve's first meeting sets the stage for everything that follows. It establishes the foundation of family, of society, of all human relationships. It reminds us that at the core of our existence is a desire to love and be loved, to know and be known. It's a beautiful truth. We were not made to be alone. The journey of humanity, with all its joys and sorrows, was always meant to be a shared one. And it all started in that garden, with a deep sleep and a joyful awakening. It began with the first time two pairs of human eyes met, and in that gaze, loneliness dissolved and companionship was born. It was the moment creation wasn't just good, it was complete. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more journeys into the heart of these timeless narratives. Not just side by side on a path, but through life, sharing every sunrise and every shadow. The story of Adam and Eve, set in the breathtaking Garden of Eden, is more than just an ancient tale. It's a profound exploration of human connection, of what it means to be two halves of a whole. In this perfect place, Adam wasn't meant to be alone. The creation of Eve wasn't an afterthought. It was the essential, completing piece of the puzzle. It signifies a deep-seated truth about us. We are created for connection, for partnership. This idea of a helper, or ezer kenegdo in Hebrew, is so much richer than its simple translation. It doesn't mean a subordinate or an assistant. It means a powerful ally, a counterpart, someone who stands face to face, equal and essential. Think of it like two pillars supporting a grand archway. Neither is more important than the other, and without both, the entire structure would collapse. This was the design for humanity from the very beginning, a partnership of strength, support, and mutual respect. Adam's joyful exclamation upon seeing Eve, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," isn't just poetic. It's a profound recognition of shared essence, of a deep, intrinsic bond that goes beyond mere companionship. It's a cry of finding the missing part of himself, a celebration of wholeness. So, what did their life in Eden look like? It was a life of shared purpose. They were tasked together to tend the garden, to care for creation. This wasn't work as we know it, full of toil and stress. It was a joyful, creative collaboration. Picture them working together, their laughter mingling with the songs of birds, their movements a synchronized dance as they nurtured the world around them. Every fruit they picked, every flower they tended, was a shared accomplishment. They were a team, learning and growing together, discovering the wonders of their world hand in hand. Their unity wasn't just in their tasks, but in their very experience of life. They saw the world through two sets of eyes, yet shared a single, unified perspective of wonder and gratitude. This Edenic unity offers us a powerful blueprint for our own relationships. In a world that often emphasizes independence and self-reliance, the story of Adam and Eve reminds us of the strength found in togetherness. It asks about being a safe harbor for one another in life, esque storms, and the biggest cheerleader in times of triumph. This is the essence of walking together, not just in a garden, but through the complex, beautiful, and sometimes challenging landscape of life. Of course, their story takes a turn. The introduction of temptation and the subsequent fall from grace shattered that perfect harmony. The blame, the shame, the hiding it, all speaks to the fragility of trust and the devastating consequences of broken unity. The moment they turned on each other, they were no longer a team. They were individuals, isolated by their choices. This part of the story is a somber but crucial lesson. It teaches us that unity requires constant nurturing. It's not a one-time achievement, but a daily choice. The breakdown in Eden wasn't just about breaking a rule. It was about the breakdown of their relationship with God and with each other. But the story doesn't end in brokenness. The entire arc of history that follows is a story of restoration, a journey back toward that ideal of unity. It's a promise that what was broken can be mended. We see this reflected in our own lives. Relationships can be damaged, trust can be betrayed, but with effort, humility, and grace, healing is possible. It's about choosing to see the best in each other, to extend grace, and to remember that fundamental need for connection that was woven into our very being from the beginning. We are all, in our own way, trying to find our way back to the garden, to recapture that sense of perfect, harmonious partnership. Imagine your most important relationship as a garden. What does it need to thrive? Does it need more sunlight in the form of encouragement and positivity? Does it need more water in the form of deep, honest communication? Are there weeds of resentment or misunderstanding that need to be pulled? Tending this garden is a shared responsibility. It requires both people to be present, engaged, and committed to its growth. Just as Adam and Eve were co-laborers in Eden, we are called to be co-laborers in the gardens of our relationships, cultivating a space of love, trust, and mutual flourishing. The harmony of Eden may seem like a distant dream, but the principles of unity it represents are timeless and achievable. Let's not forget the environment they were in. The harmony between Adam and Eve was mirrored by the harmony of creation around them. The animals were at peace. The earth was bountiful. This reminds us that our relationships don't exist in a vacuum. The health of our connections with each other is intrinsically linked to our connection with the world around us. The spirit of Eden is about holistic harmony with God, with each other, and with creation. In the end, the story of Adam and Eve walking together in the garden is a timeless invitation. It invites us to look at our own relationships and ask if they reflect this ideal of unity. The journey back to Eden is a journey of the heart. It's a conscious decision to choose connection over isolation, teamwork over competition, and forgiveness over blame. It's about recognizing the profound truth that we are better together. Life is a garden, and it's meant to be walked, tended, and enjoyed hand in hand. If this message resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores these deep and meaningful themes. What does walking together mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. But what if I told you that this possibility, this choice, was present right at the very beginning of human history? Let's travel back in time to a place of pure perfection, a garden unlike any other. Imagine a garden, not just any garden, but the very first one, a place bursting with life, vibrant colors, and the freshest air you could ever breathe. This was Eden, humanity's first home, and in the heart of this paradise stood two very special, very distinct trees. They weren't just ordinary trees bearing fruit. They were symbols, they were choices, glowing with a soft, mystical light. The first tree was called the tree of life. Its name says it all. This tree wasn't just alive. It was the source of unending life. Anyone who ate its fruit would live forever. No sickness, no aging, no death, just perpetual existence in a perfect world. Picture that for a moment. An eternal life in paradise. It was a gift, freely available, a testament to the sheer goodness of the Creator. It represented a life of complete trust and dependence on God, a life where humanity would walk in perfect harmony with its Maker forever. Now, just a short distance away, stood the second tree. This one was different. It was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This tree offered something else entirely, not eternal life, but wisdom, the ability to discern, to judge, to understand the complexities of morality, what's wrong and what's wrong in their own terms. It represented a different path, a path of independence, of self-reliance, of making one's own rules. So here we have it, the ultimate choice presented to the first humans, Adam and Eve. On one side, the tree of life, offering an eternity of blissful connection with God. On the other, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, offering autonomy and self-governance. It wasn't a trick or a trap. It was a genuine choice, a pivotal moment that would define the future of all humanity. God gave them complete freedom in the garden, with just one rule: do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He warned them that the day they did, they would surely die. This wasn't just a physical death, but a spiritual separation. It was a choice between two ways of living. One way was a life of simple, loving trust, where all needs were met, and the future was secure in the hands of a benevolent Creator. The other was a life of self-determination, where humanity would have to figure things out for itself, to bear the weight of its own decisions, and to know not just the good, but also the pain and sorrow of evil. This setup reveals something profound about the nature of love and relationship. True love requires freedom. For Adam and Eve's relationship with God to be genuine, it couldn't be forced. They had to have the ability to choose otherwise. The presence of that second tree was the ultimate testament to their free will. God wanted them to choose life, to choose Him, not because they had no other option, but because they wanted to. So why did they make the choice they did? The story is a familiar one. A serpent, a creature of cunning and deception, enters the scene. He doesn't use force, he uses words. He plants a seed of doubt. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? It's a subtle twist of the truth. Then he flat out contradicts God's warning, saying, "You will not surely die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." The temptation was powerful, the desire to be like God, the allure of hidden knowledge, of ultimate independence. It was a temptation that appealed to their pride and their ambition. Eve saw that the fruit was beautiful, and she desired the wisdom it promised. She took a bite, and then she gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he ate it too. In that single act of disobedience, everything changed. Their eyes were opened, just as the serpent had promised. But what they saw wasn't what they expected. They didn't feel powerful or godlike. They felt shame. They saw their own vulnerability, their nakedness, and they were afraid. The beautiful harmony they had known was shattered. They hid from the presence of God, the very one with whom they had once walked in perfect fellowship. The consequence was immediate and far-reaching. They were banished from the garden. And here's a crucial point. God placed guards, cherubim, and a flaming sword at the entrance to block the way back to the tree of life. Why? It might sound harsh, but it was actually an act of mercy. If they, in their new state of sin and separation, had eaten from the tree of life, they would have lived forever in that broken condition, an eternity of shame, fear, and separation from God. By blocking the path, God prevented an eternal misery and set in motion a much bigger plan, a plan of redemption. This ancient story isn't just a history lesson, it's our story. We face the same fundamental choice every single day. Do we choose the path of trust, of relying on a wisdom greater than our own, a life connected to our Creator? Or do we choose the path of self-reliance, trying to be our own gods, defining our own morality, and bearing the consequences that come with it? The tree of life represents a life of faith, dependence, and relationship. The tree of knowledge represents a life of self-sufficiency, pride, and ultimately, isolation. When we try to navigate the complexities of good and evil on our own, we often end up lost, just like Adam and Eve did. We experience shame, fear, and a sense of being disconnected. But the story doesn't end in exile. The promise of the tree of life isn't gone forever. Throughout the rest of the narrative of history, we see glimpses of this tree again. It becomes a symbol of wisdom, of hope, and of the ultimate restoration that is to come. The final chapters of the Bible, in the book of Revelation, describe a new heaven and a new earth, and what stands in the middle of the city. The tree of life, its leaves for the healing of the nations, its fruit freely available to all who enter. The path back to the tree of life was reopened. This is the heart of the message. The choice that was lost in the garden is offered to us again. It's a choice to turn away from our own attempts to be like God and to instead accept the gift of eternal life that is offered through faith. It's about returning to that state of trust and relationship that was intended from the very beginning. So, as you go about your day, think about those two trees. Which fruit are you reaching for? Are you striving for your own knowledge, your own control, your own definition of good and evil? Or are you reaching for the source of true, abundant, and eternal life? The choice that began in a garden at the dawn of time is still the most important choice we face today. Which tree do you think is more tempting to people today? Let's talk about it. It's about the very first piece of guidance given, a moment that sets the stage for everything that follows. Imagine a world brand new, bathed in a warm, gentle glow. It's a peaceful, perfect place, and in the middle of it all are the first humans, wide-eyed and full of wonder. In this serene setting, they receive their first instruction. It's not a long list of complicated rules or heavy burdens. It's just one simple boundary. Think about it. When you get a new gadget, it comes with a manual, right? Don't get it wet. Charge it this way. It's not to ruin your fun. It's to make sure the gadget works perfectly and lasts a long time. This first instruction was kind of like that a divine user manual for living well in this beautiful new world. The instruction was essentially this: you can enjoy everything in this amazing garden. It's all yours. Just this one tree, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Leave that one alone. It wasn't about restriction for the sake of it. It was about trust, relationship, and protection. It was a single point of reference in a world of complete freedom, a way to anchor their choices in their connection with their Creator. This moment highlights a powerful truth. True freedom isn't the absence of all boundaries. Often, freedom thrives within a framework of healthy limits. Think of a fish. It's free in the water, but take it out, and its freedom ends. The water is its boundary, the very thing that allows it to live and thrive. This first rule was like the water for humanity, a boundary, designed to keep them in a state of flourishing, of peace, of direct connection. It also introduces the concept of choice. Without a choice, there's no real love, no real relationship. You can't have a genuine connection with a robot that's programmed to obey. The existence of this one, no, in a world of yes, created the opportunity for a meaningful choice, to trust and obey out of love, or to go their own way. It was the first test of free will, the foundation of a relationship based not on programming, but on a willing heart. This simple instruction wasn't meant to be a trap. It was a loving guideline. Picture a parent telling a child, "You can play anywhere in the yard, but please don't run into the street." The parent isn't trying to limit the child's fun. They're protecting the child from a danger they don't yet understand. The instruction about the tree was a similar act of protective love. It was a way of saying, "Trust me. Stay in this space of innocence and safety I've created for you." The essence of this early guidance was all about relationship. It was a daily, visible reminder of their connection to the divine. Every time they saw that tree and chose not to eat from it, it was an active expression of their trust and their contentment with what they had been given, which was literally everything else. It was an invitation to find their satisfaction not in what was withheld, but in the giver of all good things. This single, simple rule also teaches us something about the nature of good and evil. In their state of innocence, they didn't need to know evil firsthand. They knew only good. The instruction was a shield meant to preserve that state. It was a warning that to know evil is to experience it, to be tainted by it. It's a profound concept. Some knowledge isn't worth the price of acquiring it. So, as we reflect on this moment, let's see it not as a harsh rule, but as a tender, guiding hand. It was the first lesson in a long history of divine communication, a lesson about trust, the beauty of healthy boundaries, and the incredible gift of free will. It sets up the central drama of the human story. Will we trust the guidance we re-given, or will we insist on defining good and evil for ourselves? This question, first posed in a peaceful garden, is one we all still face in our own lives today. Imagine a world bathed in the soft, warm light of its very first dawn. This isn't a world of grand monuments or bustling cities. It's a place of quiet beginnings, a garden where life is just starting to stretch and yawn. The air is pure, filled with the scent of damp earth and new blossoms. The only sounds are the gentle murmur of a river, the rustle of leaves in a soft breeze, and the contented sighs of the first animals. This is the setting of our story today, a chapter of profound peace. Think of a river, its waters so clear you can see every smooth stone on its bed. It doesn't rush or roar. It flows with a steady, calming rhythm, like the heartbeat of the world itself. Along its banks, lush greenery unfurls in every shade imaginable. Ferns curl out from the soil, and trees stretch their branches towards a sky that has never known a storm. In this serene landscape, the first creatures roam. A deer-like animal with gentle eyes lowers its head to drink from the river, its reflection shimmering on the surface. Nearby, a group of large, peaceful beasts, covered in soft fur, rest under the shade of a giant flowering tree. They aren't predators or prey. They are simply beings coexisting in perfect harmony. There's no fear here, no struggle for survival. There is only a shared sense of wonder and tranquility. This warm creation light, a golden hue that seems to emanate from the very fabric of the world, touches everything. It makes the dewdrops on a spider's web glitter like diamonds. It illuminates the vibrant colors of a bird's feathers as it takes its first flight. This light is more than just sunlight. It's the energy of life itself, nurturing and gentle. It's the kind of light that makes you feel safe, that makes you feel like you belong. In this early world, every day is a masterpiece of simplicity. The morning begins not with an alarm, but with the world slowly brightening, the chorus of unfamiliar bird songs, a gentle wake-up call. The day's work isn't a chore, it's a joyful exploration. Perhaps it's discovering a new type of fruit, sweet and bursting with flavor, or finding a hidden grove where the flowers glow with an inner light. There are no clocks, no schedules. Time is measured by the movement of the sun across the sky, by the slow opening and closing of petals. The afternoon might be spent simply watching the clouds drift by, their shapes telling stories against the canvas of the blue expanse. Or maybe it's about sitting by the river, letting the cool water run over your feet as you watch fish with iridescent scales swim past. The relationships between the first humans in this garden are just as pure. Communication doesn't need complex language. A shared smile, a pointed finger at a beautiful sight, a helping hand, these are the foundations of their connection. There is no jealousy, no anger, no misunderstanding. There's an innate understanding that they are all part of this incredible new creation, bound together by a shared experience of awe. Imagine the first time they see their own reflection in the still water of a pond. Not with vanity, but with innocent curiosity. Who is this person looking back? They see the light in their own eyes, the same light that fills the garden, and they understand, on some deep, unspoken level, that they are a part of this magic. As evening approaches, the creation light softens, painting the sky in shades of orange, pink, and purple. The day's warmth lingers in the air. The animals find their resting places once more. The sounds of the day give way to the gentle hum of the night, the chirping of crickets, the soft hoot of an owl-like bird. The first humans gather, not out of fear of the dark, but to share the day's peace. They look up at a sky unpolluted by artificial light, filled with a breathtaking tapestry of stars. Each star is a brilliant, sharp point of light, more numerous and brighter than any of us have ever seen. The Milky Way is a vivid, swirling river of light across the heavens. There is a deep sense of contentment in this moment. The day was good. The world is beautiful. They are safe. This is the essence of peace's state of being, where everything is exactly as it should be. It's a peace that comes from simplicity, from connection to nature, and from a heart free of worries. This chapter of our collective story, this time of calm days in the garden, serves as a powerful reminder. It's a blueprint for a state of being that we all long for deep down. It teaches us that peace isn't something to be won in a battle. It's something to be found in the quiet moments, in the beauty of the natural world, and in the simple, genuine connections we have with one another. Even now, in our complex and fast-paced world, we can find echoes of this garden. We find it in the quiet of an early morning, in the beauty of a sunset, in a moment of genuine connection with another person, or in the peaceful presence of an animal. These moments are invitations to step back into that original state of tranquility. This story isn't just about a mythical past, it's about a potential that lives within each of us. The potential to cultivate our own inner garden of peace, to find that warm creation light within our own hearts, and to live, even for a few moments each day, in that state of serene harmony. It's a reminder that before all the noise and complexity, there was a simple, beautiful, and profoundly peaceful beginning. I hope it brought a moment of peace to your day. A world bathed in perpetual dawn, where every leaf, every stream, every creature is a fresh stroke on a divine canvas. In the heart of this perfect garden lived Eve, the first woman. Her days were a tapestry of wonder, woven with threads of discovery. She knew the names of the animals, the taste of every fruit, text one and, the feel of her husband Adam's hand in hers. Life was simple, harmonious, and complete, or so it seemed. Eve's world was vast, but her heart held a space that was even vaster, the realm of curiosity. She would watch the fireflies at dusk, their tiny lights winking in the twilight, and wonder what makes them glow. She'd see the river flow endlessly towards the horizon and ask herself, where does it go? Her mind was a garden of its own, fertile with questions that sprouted like new seeds. Adam was content. He saw the world as it was, a gift to be enjoyed. But Eve saw the world as a mystery to be solved. This wasn't a flaw. It was a fundamental part of her design. It was the spark of inquiry, the very engine of what it means to be human. At the center of the garden, a place of profound significance, stood two trees. One was the tree of life, its leaves shimmering with an eternal promise. The other was different. It was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It wasn't menacing or dark. In fact, it was beautiful, its fruit gleaming with a captivating luster. A single, simple rule governed this tree. Do not eat from it. A simple rule for a simple world. For Adam, this was enough. The boundary was clear, the reason unquestioned. But for Eve, that one prohibition became the focal point of all her wonder. Why this tree? What knowledge did it hold? What was good? What was evil? The words themselves were abstract concepts in a world without contrast. The forbidden nature of the tree didn't just draw a line, it painted a question mark in the very center of her existence. Every day, her path would lead her closer. It wasn't a deliberate act of defiance, not at first. It was more like a magnetic pull, an intellectual gravity. She'd circle it from a distance, observing how the light filtered through its leaves, how its fruit seemed to pulse with a hidden light. She wasn't tempted by hunger. The garden offered endless bounty. She was tempted by the unknown. The rest of the garden was an open book, its stories told freely. This tree was a locked diary, and Eve, the first reader, longed to know its secrets. Her curiosity was pure, born not of a desire to disobey, but of an insatiable thirst to understand. It was the same instinct that would one day lead her descendants to map the stars, to explore the depths of the ocean, and to ask the fundamental questions of existence. One afternoon, as she stood near the tree, lost in her thoughts, she found she was not alone. A serpent, described as more crafty than any of the wild animals, was coiled on a branch. But in this new world, there was no concept of danger or deceit. To Eve, it was just another creature, albeit one that was remarkably articulate. It didn't hiss or threaten. It spoke to her curiosity. It asked a simple question, a question that mirrored the one already blooming in her own heart. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? The question was a subtle twist of the truth, designed to plant a seed of doubt. Eve, honest and direct, corrected the serpent. We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, she explained, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die. She knew the rule perfectly, but then the serpent offered a different perspective, a tantalizing alternative. You will not certainly die, it whispered, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. These words struck the very core of Eve's being. Eyes opened like God, knowing. It was a direct appeal not to her appetite, but to her intellect, to her yearning for deeper understanding. The serpent wasn't offering just a piece of fruit. It was offering enlightenment. Eve looked at the fruit again, but now through a new lens. She saw that it was good for food, a pleasure to the eye, and most importantly desirable for gaining wisdom. The temptation was no longer just about a forbidden object. It was now a complex web of sensory pleasure, aesthetic beauty, and the promise of intellectual growth. The serpent hadn't forced her. It had simply provided a narrative that made her own innate curiosity feel like a noble pursuit. It framed the act of disobedience not as a transgression, but as an act of self-actualization. For a moment, the boundary set by God seemed less like a loving protection and more like a restrictive barrier, holding her back from her full potential. And in that moment, the culmination of all her wonder, all her questions, and all her intellectual yearning, she made a choice. She reached out her hand. The movement was slow, deliberate, as her fingers closed around the smooth, cool skin of the fruit. The entire garden seemed to hold its breath. This wasn't just an act of eating. It was the first act of independent human will, a choice made against a divine command. It was the moment curiosity tipped over into action. She took a bite. The flavor, whatever it was, is irrelevant. What mattered was the immediate, irreversible change. The promised knowledge flooded in, but it wasn't the glorious enlightenment she had imagined. Her eyes were opened, just as the serpent had said. But what she saw was not godlike wisdom. She saw her own vulnerability. She saw atoms. She saw their nakedness, and for the first time felt a new, cold emotion, shame. This was the knowledge of good and evil, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived experience. To know good, you must now know its absence. To know light, you must now know shadow. The innocence of the garden was shattered, not by a vengeful act, but by the consequence of a choice fueled by a deeply human trait, curiosity. She then gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he ate. The shared act sealed their new reality. The world hadn't changed, but their perception of it had forever. The story of Eve is often told as a cautionary tale about disobedience, but perhaps it's also something more. It's the origin story of the human spirit. Eve's curiosity, while leading to a profound and painful separation, is the same spark that drives all human progress, art and science. It's the desire to know what's over the next hill, to understand the stars, to look inside the atom. It is the engine of our story. We are Eve's children, forever reaching for the fruit of knowledge, sometimes with wonderful consequences, and sometimes with painful ones. Her story reminds us that our greatest strengths and our greatest vulnerabilities are often two sides of the same coin. The desire to know is what makes us who we are, a legacy of wonder that began with one woman in a garden near a tree. In the soft, golden light of a world still learning its own name, a new kind of silence fell. It wasn't the peaceful quiet of dawn or the hushed reverence of dusk. It was a listening silence, a stillness filled with anticipation. In this garden, this cradle of new creation, every leaf and every stream hummed with a pure, untroubled energy. The air was sweet with the scent of blossoms that had never known decay, and the ground was soft beneath feet that had never known a weary step. Everything was in its perfect place, a symphony of existence, playing a single harmonious chord. But harmony, by its very nature, can be disrupted. A new note was about to be introduced, a subtle, sliding pitch that would forever alter the composition. It arrived not with a roar or a tremor, but with a whisper, carried on the gentlest of breezes. On a branch, draped like a living vine of emerald and gold, a serpent lay in wait. Its scales caught the light, shimmering with an intelligence that was alien to this world of simple joys. Its eyes were not the eyes of a mere beast. They held a depth, a knowing curiosity that watched the innocent inhabitants of the garden with an unnerving focus. The serpent was a creature of mesmerizing beauty, its movements a liquid dance of grace and power. It didn't belong to the open, sunlit world of the meadow flowers or the soaring eagles. It belonged to the shadows, to the spaces between the leaves, to the quiet, forgotten corners where questions could take root. It observed the two figures who walked through the garden, their laughter echoing like the purest bells. It saw their uncluttered happiness, their unquestioning acceptance of the world as it was. And in that perfection, it sensed an opportunity, a tiny hairline fracture waiting for the right pressure. The world was a canvas of absolutes, of light and life, of goodness and plenty. But the serpent carried within it the knowledge of nuance, of shadow, of maybe. It was the embodiment of the question mark in a world full of exclamation points. Its tongue, a flicker of crimson, tasted the air, not for prey, but for potential. It was searching for the precise moment when innocence might pause, when a thought might stray, when a simple why could be planted like a seed in the fertile ground of a curious mind. And so it began to speak. The sound was not a hiss, not a guttural animal noise. It was a voice, soft and smooth as polished river stones, a melody that seemed to weave itself into the very fabric of the breeze. It was a voice that didn't command, but suggested. It didn't threaten, but invited. It spoke of things not seen, of possibilities not considered. Is it truly so? The whisper would begin, a question as light as a fallen petal, yet carrying the weight of a dawning universe of doubt. The serpent spoke of knowledge, not as a forbidden thing, but as a hidden treasure. It painted pictures with its words, images of worlds beyond the garden walls, of wisdom that could make one more than they were. It spoke of the fruit on the one forbidden tree, not as a source of death, but as a key, a gateway to understanding. Look at this world, the whisper seemed to say, so beautiful, so complete, but is it all there is? Is this simple happiness enough for a mind that could grasp the stars? The temptation was not a crude offering of power or wealth. It was far more subtle, more insidious. It was the temptation of self, the allure of looking inward and finding not just contentment, but complexity. It was the suggestion that to be truly alive, was not just to exist, but to know, to understand the difference between light and shadow, not just to live in the light. The serpent's words were a mirror held up to a face that had never before considered its own reflection. The serpent did not lie, not in the way one might expect. It simply reframed the truth. It took the concept of consequence and polished it until it shone like enlightenment. It took obedience and tarnished it until it looked like ignorance. Its argument was a masterpiece of rhetoric, designed to bypass the heart and speak directly to the nascent, stirring intellect. The new creation, in all its flawless design, had no defense against such a gentle, logical, and devastating assault. The air in the garden grew thick, the subtle tension tightening like a string on a bow. The birdsong seemed to falter, the streams to quiet their babbling. All of creation held its breath, sensing the monumental shift that was occurring. A choice was being presented, a crossroad where there had only ever been a single path. One direction led to continued, blissful ignorance. The other, the one illuminated by the serpent's soft whisper, led to a future of unknown pain and profound, terrible knowledge. The new world, born in light and innocence, was now standing on the precipice of shadow. The serpent on the branch had not broken a single rule. It had merely introduced the idea that rules could be questioned, and with that single, whispered thought, the serpent had unleashed a force more powerful and more permanent than any other in creation, the irresistible, heartbreaking, and beautiful burden of free will. The garden would never be the same again. Thanks for watching. Imagine a perfect world, a garden paradise where everything is provided. No struggle, no pain, no fear, just pure, unfiltered connection with the Creator. This was the reality for the first man and woman. They walked with God in the cool of the day, living in a state of complete innocence and trust. It was a life of harmony, a beautiful symphony where every note was perfect. In this idyllic setting, they were given everything their hearts could desire, a world teeming with life and beauty, a home crafted with love. They had freedom, but it was a freedom rooted in a loving relationship, a freedom to enjoy all the goodness that surrounded them. There was only one boundary, one single rule in this entire world of abundance. It wasn't a harsh restriction, but a simple test of trust, a symbol of their relationship with their Creator. In the center of this magnificent garden stood two special trees. One was the tree of life, representing eternal connection with God. The other was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But they were given a clear instruction about the other one. You must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die. Now, this wasn't about a vengeful God setting a trap. Think of it like a parent telling a child not to touch a hot stove. The warning isn't a threat, it's a loving act of protection. The consequence isn't an arbitrary punishment, it's the natural result of the action. Eating the fruit was an act of distrust, a choice to turn away from the source of life. The death mentioned wasn't just physical, it was a spiritual separation, a severing of that perfect, intimate bond. So, here we have this beautiful scene, humanity in its infancy, living in perfect harmony. But then, a new voice enters the narrative, a subtle, questioning voice. The serpent, described as more crafty than any of the wild animals, approaches the woman. And notice how it starts. It doesn't begin with a direct command. It begins with a question designed to plant a tiny seed of doubt. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? It's a clever twist of words. God had said they could eat from almost any tree, but the serpent exaggerates the restriction, making God seem unreasonable and stingy. It's a classic tactic, distort the truth to create suspicion. The woman corrects the serpent, stating the rule accurately. She knows the command, but the seed of doubt has been sown. The conversation has started, and the foundation of trust is beginning to crack. The serpent then moves from subtle questioning to a direct contradiction of God's word. "You will not certainly die," it claims. This is a frontal assault on God's character. The serpent is essentially calling God a liar, and it doesn't stop there. It offers a tantalizing alternative motive, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. This is the ultimate temptation. It's not just about a piece of fruit anymore. It's about power, about self-determination, about becoming your own God. The serpent frames God's loving boundary as an act of jealousy, as if God is holding them back, keeping them from their true potential. It's a lie packaged in a promise of enlightenment and freedom. The temptation is to believe that true fulfillment lies outside of God's provision, in seizing knowledge and power for oneself. The woman looks at the fruit. Before, it was just a tree, part of the scenery. But now, filtered through the serpent's words, the Bible says she saw that the fruit was good for food, pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom. This is a perfect picture of how temptation works. It appeals to our natural, legitimate desires, the desire for nourishment, for beauty, for knowledge. There's nothing inherently wrong with these things, but temptation twists them, offering a shortcut, a way to fulfill them outside of God's design and timing. The lie is that we can satisfy our deepest longings on our own terms. She stood at a crossroads. On one side, the clear, loving word of her Creator. On the other, a whispered promise of godlike power, wrapped in the appeal of a beautiful, delicious fruit. The choice was hers, and in that moment, she made her choice. She took the fruit and ate it. It was a simple act, but the consequences were cosmic. Then she gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he also ate. It's interesting that he was right there, silent, during this whole exchange. He wasn't deceived in the same way. He simply went along with it. Both of them chose to believe the serpent's lie over God's truth. They chose to define good and evil for themselves. They chose independence over dependence, self-will over trust. This wasn't just about breaking a rule. It was the breaking of a relationship. It was humanity's declaration of independence from its creator. That single act of disobedience, born from a seed of doubt and a desire for self-sovereignty, would forever alter the course of human history. The instant they ate, something changed. Their eyes were opened just as the serpent had promised. But what did they see? Not the godlike power they were promised. They saw their own nakedness, and for the first time they felt shame. Before, their nakedness was a symbol of their innocence, their complete transparency with each other and with God. Now, it was a source of embarrassment and fear. Their first creative act in this new state of enlightenment was to sew fig leaves together to cover themselves. This is so symbolic. Humanity's first instinct after sinning is to hide, to cover up, to manage our own shame. They tried to fix the problem themselves, but fig leaves are a poor substitute for the covering of God's presence. They were trying to hide from each other, and soon they would try to hide from God. When they heard the sound of God walking in the garden, the same sound that once brought them joy now brought them terror. They ran and hid among the trees. The Creator who had lovingly formed them, who had walked and talked with them, was now someone to be feared and avoided. The intimacy was shattered. God calls out, "Where are you?" This isn't a question of location. God knew exactly where they were. It's a relational question. It's the heartbroken cry of a father searching for his lost children. Where have you gone? What has happened to our relationship? It's a question that echoes through the ages, God's continual call to a humanity that is hiding in shame. Their response is a masterclass in blame shifting. When God confronts Adam, he doesn't take responsibility. He says, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." He blames the woman, and he even subtly blames God for giving him the woman in the first place. Then, when God turns to Eve, she says, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." She blames the serpent. No one is willing to simply say, "I did it. I was wrong." This is the tragic fruit of their newfound knowledge: guilt, shame, fear, and the breakdown of relationships, not just with God, but with each other. They went from perfect unity to a cycle of blame and accusation. This is the human condition, born in that very moment. The consequences unfold. There are curses, but they are more like the natural results of their choice. The serpent is cursed. The woman will experience pain in childbirth, and her desire will be for her husband, but he will rule over her. The perfect partnership is now marred by conflict and hierarchy. The man will have to toil and sweat to get food from the ground, which is now cursed with thorns and thistles. The easy, joyful work of tending the garden is replaced by frustrating, painful labor. And finally, the ultimate consequence, they were warned about death. For dust you are, and to dust you will return. They are banished from the garden, and an angel with a flaming sword is placed to guard the way to the tree of life. They are cut off from the source of eternal life. This wasn't God being cruel. It was a merciful act. To allow them to eat from the tree of life in their fallen state would be to lock them into an eternal existence of sin and separation. The story is a tragedy, but even in this dark moment, there is a flicker of hope. God promises that a descendant of the woman will one day crush the serpent's head. It's the very first hint of a rescue plan, a promise that this choice, this fall, is not the end of the story. Have you ever wondered about that exact moment when everything changed, not just for one person, but for all of us? I'm talking about the moment humanity woke up. Before that, imagine a world bathed in soft, muted tones, a gentle, dreamlike existence, a world of pure innocence, where we were simply part of the landscape, like the rivers and the trees, moving with the natural rhythm of the earth. There were no complex questions, no heavy burdens of why or what if. Life was just ... life. A simple, beautiful, and unbroken melody. But then something shifted. A flicker, a spark in the collective consciousness. It wasn't a loud explosion, but a quiet, profound hum that started deep within. Imagine two of our earliest ancestors standing at the dawn of time. One day, they look at each other, and for the very first time, they truly see one another. Not just as a companion, but as a separate being with their own thoughts, their own fears, their own inner world. They look at their own hands, not just as tools for gathering or building, but as extensions of themselves, of their will. This is the dawn of self-awareness. This awakening was the birth of the individual. It's the moment we realized we were not just part of the world, but observers of it. And with that realization, the world itself began to change. The soft, muted tones of that early world started to sharpen. Colors became more vivid, but so did the shadows. The gentle, emotional landscape was suddenly filled with new, complex feelings, wonder, curiosity, but also something else, a sense of separation, a newfound vulnerability. Innocence, like a morning mist, began to burn away under the heat of this new sun of consciousness. This wasn't a fall from grace, but a step into a new, more complex dimension of being. It's the moment the first question was born. Why are we here? What is the purpose of all this? With awareness came the burden and the gift of choice. Before, the path was laid out, a simple trail through the wilderness. Now, a million possible paths stretched out before us in every direction. The world was no longer just a home. It became a puzzle, a mystery to be solved. And we, the newly awakened humans, were the ones Shay had to figure it out. Think about that emotional shift. It must have been both terrifying and exhilarating. The quiet comfort of blissful ignorance was gone, replaced by the thrilling and sometimes aching hum of a mind fully alive. It's the difference between dreaming and waking up. In the dream, you are carried along by the story. When you wake up, you are the one who has to decide what to do next. This is the moment humanity sat up in bed, rubbed its eyes, and saw the morning light of a brand new and much more complicated day. This awakening of awareness is the core of so many of our myths and stories. From the Garden of Eden to the tale of Prometheus. It's a story we tell ourselves over and over because it's our origin story, not just of our species, but of our minds. It's the moment we traded the simple peace of the herd for the lonely, magnificent journey of the self. We gained the universe of the inner world, but we lost that feeling of being seamlessly woven into the outer world. A bittersweet exchange, wouldn't you say? And this process didn't just happen once, long ago. It happens to each of us. Remember when you were a child and the world was a magical, simple place. And then, bit by bit, you started to understand its complexities, its dangers, and its infinite possibilities. You became aware of yourself as a separate person with your own unique destiny. That personal awakening is a small echo of that great, species-wide awakening. We are all children of that first moment of change, forever walking the path that was forged when innocence first gave way to awareness. This awakening is the engine of human history. It's the force that drives woman the art, our science, our philosophy. Every painting, every equation, every question whispered into the night is a ripple from that first moment of realization. We are constantly trying to understand the world that we suddenly found ourselves in and to understand ourselves within it. The simple, early world is gone and it's never coming back. But in its place, we have built civilizations, we have written symphonies, we have reached for the stars. The price of awareness was the loss of a certain kind of peace, a primal innocence. But what we gained was everything else. The capacity for profound love, for heart-wrenching sorrow, for breathtaking creativity, and for the endless, unquenchable thirst for knowledge. It was the moment we became a story in the making, rather than a finished poem. And we are still writing the verses today. Each of us contributing our own line to this epic tale that began with a single, quiet moment of awakening. So, the next time you look up at the stars and feel a sense of wonder and a little bit of loneliness, remember that you are feeling the echo of our most ancient ancestors. You are feeling the legacy of that gentle, emotional shift when we first realized we were here, we were aware, and the entire universe of possibilities had just opened up. It's the beautiful, aching, magnificent burden of being human. If you found this journey into our distant past as fascinating as I do, consider subscribing and joining our community. We're diving into Chapter 18 today, titled Hiding Among the Trees. The core theme here is about experiencing fear for the very first time in this new, unfolding world. Imagine stepping into an existence where you've never known danger, where everything has been provided, and the concept of a threat is completely alien. The image prompt that guides this chapter is man and woman hiding in early world forest. Soft, cool light, quiet tension. This is a forest filled with soft, cool light, maybe the light of dawn or dusk, or filtered through a dense canopy. It's a light that creates long shadows and conceals things. The mood is one of quiet tension. It's not a loud, chaotic scene. It's the silence that's terrifying. The kind of silence where every snapped twig, every rustle of leaves, sounds like a thunderclap. The man and woman are not just taking a stroll. They are hiding. This posture of concealment is a stark contrast to everything they've known before. It implies there is something out there worth hiding from. So, let's explore this idea of first fear. Before this moment, their world was one of open spaces and direct sunlight. They walked without needing to look over their shoulder. The forest itself is a new environment. While beautiful, it's also a labyrinth. The trees that offer shelter can also hide dangers. This duality is central to the chapter. The very things that provide cover are also what block their view, creating a sense of the unknown lurking just beyond their sight. What could they be hiding from? The story doesn't need to show us a monster right away. The fear of the unknown is often more powerful than the fear of a known threat. Is it a sound they've never heard before? A shadow that moved in a way that wasn't natural? The sudden, chilling realization that they are not the only thinking, moving beings in this world. This first fear isn't just a physical reaction. It's a profound psychological shift. It's the moment innocence is fractured. The world, which was once a safe, welcoming garden, now has teeth. It has dark corners and hidden places where things can watch you without being seen. Think about the dynamic between the man and the woman. How do they react to this new emotion? Do they cling to each other? Does one try to be brave for the other, even while trembling inside? Their relationship, which has been built on shared discovery and joy, is now being tested by a shared terror. This is the first time they must rely on each other for survival, not just for companionship. Their communication would change. Words would be whispered, if spoken at all. More likely, it would be a language of wide eyes, grasped hands, and shallow breaths. The soft, cool light is also a critical detail. Cool light, blues and grays, evokes a sense of unease and melancholy. It's the opposite of warm, life-giving sunlight. It suggests a world that is indifferent to them, a world that operates on its own ancient and perhaps dangerous rules. The softness of the light means there are no hard edges. Things blend together. A log could be a predator. A shadow could be a threat. This visual uncertainty mirrors their emotional uncertainty. They don't know what to be afraid of, so they become afraid of everything. This chapter is a turning point. It marks the end of their idyllic beginning and the start of a more complex and perilous existence. Fear introduces a new set of rules. It teaches caution, strategy, and the necessity of shelter. It's a harsh but essential lesson in this new world. Before, they were simply living. Now, they must learn to survive. This isn't just about a physical threat. It's about the birth of a new awareness. The awareness that life is fragile and that the world is much bigger, older, and more mysterious than they could have ever imagined. As we visualize this scene, we feel their hearts pounding in unison. We feel the damp earth beneath their hands as they press themselves lower to the ground. The scent of pine and wet leaves is thick in the air, a scent that will forever be linked to this memory of their first fear. They are no longer just explorers in a new land. They are prey, and that changes everything. They are learning what it means to be small in a vast, untamed wilderness. The quiet tension is the sound of their worldview shattering. The forest is no longer just a collection of trees. It's a living entity with secrets kept in its shadows. The transition from a world without fear to one defined by it is a profound narrative arc. It's the moment the story truly gains its stakes. Up until now, the challenges might have been about learning or adapting. Now, the challenge is about staying alive. The silence in that forest is filled with questions. What's out there? Are we safe? What do we do now? And the answers are not readily available. All they have is each other and the terrifying brand new instinct to hide, to be small, to be unseen. This is the moment they learn that some parts of their new home are not meant for them, and that knowledge is a heavy burden to carry. The age of innocence is over, and the age of survival has begun. This chapter sets up so much for the future. This memory of primal fear will shape their decisions, their relationship, and their understanding of the world. Every future choice will be colored by this experience in the cool, quiet woods. It's a powerful, foundational moment, and it's all captured in that single, tense image of two people hiding among the trees, listening to the silence and learning the true meaning of fear. That's our deep dive into Chapter 18. It's a pivotal, atmospheric chapter that changes the entire tone of the narrative. Let me know in the comments what you think they might be hiding from and how you would feel in that situation. It's a story about choices, consequences, and a conversation that changes the course of human history forever. We're in Chapter 19, a moment where calling God speaks with sadness. Imagine the scene. The world is new, pristine, a perfect garden bathed in divine light. Humanity, in its earliest form, lives in complete harmony with its Creator. There are no tears, no pain, no fear. It's a reality we can barely even comprehend. But within this perfect existence, a single rule was given, a single boundary set, not as a trap, but as a test of trust and a gift of free will. The choice to obey was also the choice to love freely. But then, a shadow falls over paradise, a whisper of doubt, a seed of ambition. The choice is made, the boundary is crossed, and in that one act of defiance, everything changes. The air grows heavy, the brilliant light of the garden seems to dim, and for the first time, humanity feels something new, shame. They hide not just their bodies, but their very selves from the presence they once walked with in perfect peace. Then comes the sound, the familiar presence of their Creator walking in the garden in the cool of the day. But this time, it's different. The usual joy is replaced by a question that echoes through the trees. A question that is not for information, but for connection. Where are you? It's a question every parent has asked, filled with concern and a touch of sorrow. It's the sound of a heart searching for a relationship that has been fractured. The response is filled with fear and excuses. The man blames the woman. The woman blames the serpent. It's a chain of finger-pointing, a desperate attempt to shift the weight of their own choice onto someone, anyone else. This is a tragically human moment, one we see repeated every day in our own lives. The refusal to take ownership of our actions, and then God speaks. But listen closely to the tone. This isn't the thunderous voice of an angry tyrant. The text suggests something far more complex and sorrowful. It's the voice of a creator, a father, whose heart is breaking. He isn't just handing down a punishment. He is describing the inevitable consequences that now flow from their choice. It's the law of cause and effect, set in motion by a broken trust. To the serpent, a curse. To the woman, pain in childbirth, yet also a desire for her husband, a complex mix of struggle and connection. To the man, toil and sweat. The ground itself will now resist him. He will work tirelessly to bring forth food from the very earth he was created from. These aren't arbitrary penalties. They are descriptions of a new reality of life, outside of perfect harmony, a life of struggle, effort, and mortality. Think about the sadness in that moment. Every word spoken is a farewell to the world that was. Every consequence described is a tear for the innocence that was lost. The Creator looks at his beloved creation and explains that the path ahead will be hard. Dust you are, and to dust you will return. This is the first time mortality enters the human story, the ultimate consequence, the end of an eternal walk in the garden. But even in this profound sadness, there's a glimmer of something else. Hidden within the curse on the serpent is a promise, a prophecy of a future descendant who will one day crush the serpent's head. It's a tiny spark of hope lit in the deepest darkness, a hint that this isn't the end of the story, but the beginning of a long, difficult, but ultimately redemptive new chapter. Then comes the final act of this tragedy. God, in an act of poignant care, makes them garments of skin. He covers their shame, providing for them even as he sends them away. It's a gesture of love from a grieving parent who, despite the deep hurt, still cares for their child's well-being. He then banishes them from the Garden of Eden, not just as a punishment, but also as an act of mercy, to prevent them from eating from the tree of life and living forever in their broken, separated state. An eternity of struggle and sorrow would be a far worse fate. So they walk out of paradise, hand in hand, into a world that is now both beautiful and dangerous. The gate is guarded behind them, a permanent symbol of what was lost. They carry with them the consequences of their choice, the memory of perfection, and that tiny, almost imperceptible seed of hope for a future redemption. This story resonates so deeply because it's our story. We all live east of Eden. We all know struggle. We all know the temptation to blame others, and we all know the feeling of loss. But this narrative also invites us to consider the nature of God, not as a distant judge, but as an intimate creator whose heart is invested in his creation. The sadness in his voice is a testament to the depth of his love. It's a story that asks us to look at our own choices and their consequences, not with shame, but with honesty. And it reminds us that even when we feel we've been exiled from our own personal gardens, there is still care, there is still provision, and there is always the promise of hope on the horizon. It's a sad chapter, yes, but it sets the stage for the greatest comeback story ever told. Have you ever wondered what that first step felt like? Not your first step, or even the first step on the moon. I'm talking about humanity's first step. The first step out of a perfect home into the great unknown world. Let's journey back to the very edge of Eden, a place of bittersweet goodbyes and brand new beginnings. Imagine a garden unlike any other, a place where every need was met, where harmony was the air you breathed. This was home, the only home they had ever known. But every story of growth begins with a departure. And for these two, the first man and woman, their departure wasn't just a change of scenery. It was the dawn of history itself. The gate of Eden closes behind them, not with a crash of thunder, but with a quiet, final click. Before them lies a world that is vast, untamed, and utterly new. The horizon stretches endlessly, painted in soft, unfamiliar colors. It's beautiful, yet intimidating. There are no paths, no signs, no one to ask for directions. There is only the earth beneath their feet and the sky above their heads. Think about that moment. The mix of fear and freedom, the weight of what was lost, and the lightness of what could be. In Eden, life was predictable, safe. Out here, every sunrise is a question, every shadow a potential danger. They have to learn everything from scratch. How to find food, how to build shelter, how to read the weather in the clouds. This isn't a punishment, it's a curriculum. The world is now their classroom, and survival is the only subject. The lessons are hard. They will feel hunger, cold, and exhaustion in ways they never imagined. They will make mistakes. But with every challenge, they also discover something new about the world and about themselves. They learn the resilience of their own bodies, the sharpness of their own minds. But the most important discovery they make is each other. In the garden, their companionship was a simple joy. Here, in the wild, it becomes their lifeline. When one stumbles, the other is there to offer a hand. When one is afraid, the other offers a word of comfort. They learn to communicate not just with words, but with shared glances, with the silent understanding that passes between two people facing the world together. Their bond, forged in perfection, is now being tempered in the fires of adversity. It grows stronger, deeper, more real. They are no longer just two individuals. They are a team, a partnership, the first family. Their journey is the ultimate story of adaptation. They learn to watch the stars, to navigate, to understand the seasons by the turning of the leaves. They discover which plants give nourishment and which ones are to be avoided. They learn the rhythm of the rain and the language of the wind. Each day is a small victory, a testament to their growing wisdom. This isn't a story of loss, but of creation. They are not just leaving a garden. They are beginning the human story. Every step they take is a first. The first time they see snow. The first time they taste a wild berry. The first time they huddle together for warmth around a fire they built themselves. These are the foundational memories of our species. Their experience is woven into our collective DNA. That feeling of standing at the edge of something new. That mix of excitement and trepidation. It's a feeling we all knew, whether it's starting a new job, moving to a new city, or stepping out of our comfort zone. We are, in a small way, reliving their journey. We are leaving our own personal Edens. Their story reminds us that home is not always a place you can return to. Sometimes, home is a direction you walk in together. It's the strength you find in companionship, the hope you build with your own two hands. As they walk away from the familiar glow of the garden, they don't look back. Their gaze is fixed on the horizon. The world before them is a blank canvas, and they hold the brush. They are walking into the sunrise of human history, and their journey has just begun. It's a journey of hardship, yes, but also of incredible discovery, profound love, and the unbreakable spirit that would come to define humanity. They are walking into our story. Thank you for joining me on this journey back to the beginning. If you found this story as moving as I do, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into the foundations of our world. See you next time.